Whisker's Cafe, a culinary time travel adventure. In the quiet town of Maplewood, nestled between golden fields and sleepy hills, there stood a little cafe called Whisker's Cafe. From the outside, it looked like any other cozy spot, ivy crawling up the stone walls, a chalkboard menu out front, and the warm scent of cinnamon always drifting through the air. But if you looked closely, really closely, you'd notice something peculiar. The cat who ran the cafe wore spectacles, a tiny apron, and a pocket watch on a chain. His name was Whisker, and he wasn't your average tabby. You see, Whisker wasn't just a chef, he was a culinary time traveler. Every night, after the last customer had sipped their tea and the lights were dimmed, Whisker would leap onto the polished counter, adjust his spectacles, and whisper to the steam rising from the teapot. Time to stir the past. And poof, the cafe would shimmer, twist, and transform. One quiet night, a little girl named Lena snuck out of bed. She had always suspected something magical about Whisker's Cafe. She tiptoed across the road in her fuzzy slippers, holding her plush bunny, Mr. Sprout. When she peeked through the window, she gasped. The cafe had changed. Inside, it looked like a bustling kitchen from ancient Egypt. Golden jars lined the walls, and Whisker wore a linen headpiece, stirring honey into fig tarts with expert paws. Lena pushed open the door, and a warm breeze greeted her. "Ah, Lena," Whisker purred, without turning. "You're just in time for dessert in 2500 BCE. "You're a time-traveling chef?" she asked, eyes wide. Whisker chuckled. "Time's a whisker away if you know how to season it right." He handed her a fig tart with crushed almonds. It was sweet and nutty and tasted like sunshine. "Where to next?" Lena asked eagerly. Whisker tapped his pocket watch. "Let's stir again." The teapot whistled, steam swirled, and whoosh, the cafe changed again. Now they were in Renaissance Italy. Outside, the cafe overlooked cobbled streets. Inside, it was filled with the smell of roasted tomatoes and garlic. Whisker now wore a ruffled collar and was flipping dough high into the air. "We're making pizza for the Duke," he said. Lena giggled. "Is that a lute player on the counter?" Sure enough, a small mouse in a tiny vest played a tune while dancing on a Parmesan wheel. They made a simple margherita pizza with fresh basil and buffalo mozzarella, and the moment Lena bit into it, she felt like she was dancing through a sunflower field. "Time for one more?" Whisker asked, already setting the dials on the teapot. Lena nodded eagerly. Next stop, Japan, during the Edo period. The cafe was now surrounded by bamboo and koi ponds. Tatami mats lined the floor. Whisker wore a silk kimono and expertly rolled sushi with seaweed and sticky rice. Lena watched in awe. "It's so peaceful here." "Each dish is a story," Whisker said. "This one tells of cherry blossoms and moonlight." They shared sweet rice cakes and matcha tea, and Lena sighed happily. "But, how do you do all this?" she finally asked. Whisker looked over his spectacles. "Magic," he said simply. "And a little curiosity." Food is history, memory, and imagination, all simmered together. Lena looked around at the softly glowing lanterns and gently rustling trees. "Will I remember this when I wake up?" Whisker smiled. "The taste will linger, even if the dream fades." With a final whisk of steam, the cafe returned to its cozy Maplewood self. The chalkboard once again read, "Tomorrow's special, apple crumble with time-whipped cream." Whisker led Lena to the door, Mr. Sprout tucked under her arm. "Come back anytime," he said with a wink. "History's always hungry for good company." Lena yawned and hugged him tight. "Thank you, Chef Whisker." The stars twinkled as she crossed the street and slipped back into bed, the taste of fig tart and adventure on her tongue. And from the little cafe, a soft sound could be heard. Tick, tock, simmer, pop. Time, once again, was being stirred. The end.